Welcome to WaiVER CLaiM, the show where we're not fighting each other, we're teaming up to take down our AI buddy MILO, human takes, AI verdicts every week. Follow us on our socials and audio platforms at WaiVER CLaiM Show. Follow us on YouTube at WaiVER CLaiM. Hit subscribe and help us spread the word. I'm your host, Rich Wilhelm, and look at this lovely panel of mine. And first, I'm going to introduce Chris Tomlinson. Chris, I feel like you've been catching some strays this week and some heat. What's going on?
Listen, Rich. So I've been getting grief this week for using AI, killing trees, destroying the environment. And look, the concern itself is legitimate. Data centers use real energy. I'm not denying that. But let's be honest with the framing here. Corporations have been running this playbook for decades. Take a systemic problem, make it your fault, sell you a tote bag, give you a paper straw. BP spent millions telling you to measure your carbon footprint while selling oil. So if AI energy consumption is genuinely a civilization level emergency, which honestly, I kind of lean that way, regulate the industry, tax it, cap it, force cleaner infrastructure, build nuclear, whatever. But I'm not going to accept a guy using ChatGPT to make football thumbnails as the final boss of climate change. And for the record, I wrote multiple papers in college on carbon sequestration. My master's thesis was on sustainable asphalt materials. I have done the academic work on this. I have driven a
pre-AI too. Pre-AI, you did that academic work too.
I did. Yeah. I was going to say, I have driven a soccer mom hybrid for 12 years voluntarily. I did Nickelodeon's Big Help. I did the Big Green Help. I called in multiple times. I pledged hours. I definitely did not follow through. I cleaned up a park once. I think it was a Tuesday. T-Mobile plants trees in my name every Earth Day. I've been with T-Mobile since 2008. Do the math. That's a forest. Those are my trees. I planted them spiritually through a phone carrier. I've earned a couple of prompts. Suck my whole ass.
Wow. Maybe we should just end the show after that. I mean, we can't really follow it up.
All right.
Yeah. All I got out of that
is about football now.
Right. I mean, all I got out of that is you make thumbnails through ChatGPT and you put oil on ducks. Raphael, our
Dawn's a hell of a product.
Our fantasy savant, you got to follow it up. So what's up, Raphael?
AI, more like gay eye, right?
Got him.
Ooh. We're getting flagged.
Yeah, baby. All right. Then we got Vin Landolfo. He puts the Homer in Homer Simpson. What's up, Vin?
What's up, guys? Skynet went live in 1997. Just so you know.
Went in the lava with the thumb up, right? Craig Gorbanoff, the babyface Bing Bong lover himself. The Knicks are in the finals. So bing bong to you, Craig.
Bing bong to you, sir. Bing bong to you, sir. Let's go Knicks. Knicks in 5. Knicks in 5. Whoever they play.
I'll take any win. It can go 7. I don't even care. And we got Alberto Torres. What's good, my guy?
Happy Friday to all.
And to all a good night. Yes.
Friday.
So if you're watching this not on Friday, happy whatever day you're watching it. All right. Before we get into it, a word from our sponsor. The South is brought to you by the Pulling Guard, an elite line of sports and trading card products built for collectors. Put that shiny cardboard on display and don't get caught with your cards down. ProtectYourPull.com, TikTok at pulling_guard. Use code IOG WaiVER CLaiM for 10% off. Didn't butcher it.
I'm going to give you a slow clap for that one. You actually got through it.
Thank you.
You did it.
All I needed was one energy drink beforehand. Good to go. All right. Segment 1, we're doing the South, and that's the AFC South, NFC South this week. So 4 teams, 8 divisions. We're going to break it down. We're going to do the totals, win placement, and the narratives nobody's talking about. So let's start right in the AFC South. Here's what's interesting about the division. The market says Houston. The model says Jacksonville. So the margin between them is literally 3.7% across 10,000 simulations. 42.8% versus 39.1%. I sound like Chris right now, but this is actual numbers. The closest division race in the entire AFC.
I
Both.
was going to say, did the model take into account the NFL schedule release videos? I'm just curious.
I think it listened to you, and then, Bert Kreischer got, shade, and then it was like, we got to change it. So both co-favorites carry the two hardest stress loads in the league. So that kind of makes everything interesting, right? So I feel like I started. Hey. So I feel like I started last week. I'm going to do it again. So this is a little more clear cut for me than the NFC South. The AFC South, the top two teams, obviously the Jaguars and Texans, for me at least. I have the Jaguars going 10-7. I have the Texans going 9-8. I have the Colts going 6-11, and then Tennessee Titans bringing up the rear at 4-13 with the Robert Salehs. So, Chris, I gave my 2 cents here. What do you have for this division?
So I don't agree with MILO and the model because right now, like you, it gives Jacksonville the slight edge, like us last night. But so MILO has the Jags at 9.3 wins, Texans at 9.1, so it's predicting them both at 9 wins. Colts at 7.3, Texans at 6.6. Honestly, like most of those feel right to me. I just think the Jags and Texans are going to be switched, but I believe, let me just check real quick. The South, so the two big things on here that's interesting to me in the model is Jacksonville, the overall stress in the entire season. Jacksonville ranks the top. Like they have the most stress-induced season throughout just all of the weeks. However, Houston during the playoff push, so weeks 13 onwards, they have the hardest schedule in terms of stress. So just flying back and forth, whatever that stuff is. They both have similar strength opponents from the preseason models. I believe in Trevor Lawrence. I like him. I know I gave him crap. Well, I mean, that's more on the Jaguars themselves for the video. That's not on Trevor Lawrence. I like a CJ Stroud, but like you said, this feels like a toss-up. I just can't, for the life of me, choose the Jags after that schedule release video.
Well, I respect it. I respect the hatred just for the schedule release video. Rafael, I know we were talking before the show. I think we feel kind of similar on this division. You have the Jags or the Texans on top here?
I actually have the Texans on top. However, I only have them winning 9 games. Go figure. I have the Jaguars going 8-9. I have the Colts going 6-11. They have a tough first half of their schedule, but that's going to be rough for them, especially since we don't exactly know the timetable of when Daniel Jones is going to return. And then the Titans have 0 primetime games. I only have them getting 3 wins, and I couldn't find any more wins throughout their schedule. The most noticeable thing for me for this division is the fact that the Jaguars only have 6 home games in Jacksonville this season. That's because they played 2 of their games in London, quote unquote. Those are considered home games. But they only have 4 home games after their week 7 bye, which, that's, I want to say 6 or 7 away games after their bye week. It's going to be rough for them. That's why I only have them going 8-9.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I have them winning 5 games within their own division, which is the only thing that's kind of pushing the needle for me. The only team I have them losing to is the Texans, because the Colts, like you said, we don't know the timetable on Daniel Jones, and the Titans are the Titans.
I got know when they play them in the season, because I mean, if they play them like mid-season and late, then you probably don't have to worry about it.
You talking
because
about
I'm not necessarily a Daniel Jones believer, but I do believe in a Shane Steichen.
Yeah, it's week 7 and week 17 for the Jags versus the Colts.
I mean, division games are weird. They'll probably split.
Yeah. Rafael, so you said the Titans are winning 3 games. I guarantee one of them is week 1 against the Jets, right?
100%.
As
Okay.
long as it's not week 2 when I go to Nashville, because I will be pissed if I watch Brian Daboll beat the Eagles, and I will not be on the show anymore. Full stop.
I think you're safe. I think they're going to start 0-2. 1 week into OTAs. Let's go. Craig, you feeling similar with the standings?
Yeah, I'm pretty much aligned. I have the Texans just narrowly beating out the Jags for the division championship, and I'm working on the assumption that CJ Stroud is going to bounce back a little bit after having an off year last year. But the more and more I think about how the Texans closed out their season last season and just the epic collapse of CJ Stroud in the playoffs throwing 4 interceptions, you have to wonder if like a performance like that just overall is indicative of who he is as a quarterback. And I'm not saying that quarterbacks aren't allowed to have bad games, but in the playoffs, having that disastrous of a performance is pretty bad. So I'm going to assume that they're going to play better at the very least, because I have a friend who's from Houston and he's a Texans fan and I want him to be slightly happy. But my gut is telling me that it's probably going to be the Jaguars, but on paper today, I'll say the Texans narrowly edge out the division. And then I'm in lockstep with you guys the rest of the way for the Titans and Colts as well.
There you go. So shout out to Seth. This one's for you. I'm rooting for the Texans too. The whole Trevor Lawrence
I was going to
thing.
say, I'm a big DeMeco Ryans fan.
Yeah.
Most handsome head coach in the league.
As long as the Colts finish low, because we have their pick, that's the only thing I care about. But Vin, Alberto, any changes to the standings? Who do you have? Do you have Texans or Jags winning this one, Vin?
I got the Colts. I think Riley Leonard can hold it down for a couple weeks. Daniel Jones, I mean, he was in the MVP discussion for like 4 weeks opening the season. And that's pretty big for him. And I mean, again, if his ceiling's like Andy Dalton, if he can get 25 touchdown tosses, his running's probably going to be limited. But you also got Jonathan Taylor. I think he's in a contract year too, Taylor. Maybe. Doesn't matter. He's still a dog. And their defense is, top notch. It goes toe to toe with the Texans defense. And I'm not a big Stroud guy. And I don't believe in Galaxia over there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get to it. I'm not a Stroud guy either. That'll be in our third segment where I'm going to kind of poop on him a little bit. Alberto, let's close this out. What do you got? You got the Jags, the Texans, the Colts, or the Titans winning this thing?
Texans winning the division by a game. I have them at 11-6, and the Jags at 10-7.
All right, cool.
Wow, you got this division a little higher than the rest of us.
Yeah, they have a lot of offensive potential. Maybe their defenses are better. The Titans, they'll be there in a couple years. Colts, they need to rebuild and they need to get another quarterback outside of Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
that's not true.
Okay, Vin.
You ask, I guess. All right, so the NFC South, for me, is a complete crapshoot. I mean, what I'm about to say on this show doesn't make any sense even to me, but I went through it literally. We're talking like on paper here, game by game, and I couldn't find more than 7 wins in this entire division, which is not going to happen. Someone's going to win at least 10 games here. But I have the Bucs winning 7-10. I have the Falcons going 7-10. I have the Saints going 4-13. I have the Panthers going 4-13. None of this will happen. I'm just saying, like on paper, this is what I have. So, I mean, I do like Tyler Shough. I think, the Saints have a shot of winning, obviously, more than 4 games. The Panthers, I think, are just going to fall off a cliff this year. I think last year was a complete fluke, and I think all the other teams are going to get a little bit better. With the Falcons, it's Tua versus Penix, which is like poop versus poop. And, you don't know who you're going to get, and it doesn't really matter.
If this is the old Ren and Stimpy episode where, was it Ren and Stimpy or something else, where you put garbage in the garbage and made it not smell anymore? Like, I forget what old school cartoon that was, but...
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. I got to find that.
As a New York Jets fan who's had a lot of garbage quarterbacks under center, it tends to not like make your quarterbacks better if you just put a bunch of garbage together.
Nah. You can't potpourri Tua. It's still going to stink. So, Craig, help me out here. Am I insane for having these win totals like this? No one getting more than 7 wins?
I mean, no. This has been one of the worst divisions in football over the past bunch of years, and it's always topsy-turvy. There's always a lot of worst to firsts in this division. Once kind of Drew Brees and Matt Ryan left this division, it's been a roller coaster ride of who's going to kind of take over. So I don't think your on paper prediction is crazy. I think your initial point, though, that it probably won't shake out that way is also correct. But like when you go through it line by line, it is certainly hard to find wins for this division. Crap, who's calling me?
I was going to say, Rich, I will sandwich bet you about the division.
No,
and I won't even take the field. I'll just say I believe the Bucks will get more than 7 wins.
No,
it won't be the field.
That. I do believe they get more than 7 wins. I just can't.
You clearly don't. You showed me a piece of paper that I couldn't read from over here.
It's right here, man. Come on.
So,
all right.
Yeah, I'm illiterate.
Let me name the Bucks real quick, and then we'll move fast here. So I have them losing to the Bengals week 1. I have them winning against the Browns, winning against the Vikings, losing to the Packers, losing to the Cowboys, splitting with the Panthers. So I have Panthers winning 1 and 6. I have them winning against the Steelers. Sorry, Vin. Winning against the Falcons, losing against the Bears, losing against the Lions, winning against the Panthers, losing against the Chargers, losing against the Ravens, winning against the Saints, losing against the Falcons, losing against the Rams, and winning against the Saints. So, I mean, that's 7 and 10.
So it sounds like you want to sandwich bet me.
I absolutely don't. I want the Bucks to win 10. Let's go Baker Mayfield. Big Bucks.
Coward again.
I want the Bucks to win the division, so can't do it. Raphael, before the show started, we talked about this, and it's kind of similar for you as well. Tell me what your standings look like for the NFC South.
So I have the Buccaneers going 9 and 8. That 4 weeks 4, 5, and 6 are going to be a tough stretch. They're at home versus Green Bay. They have to travel to Dallas, and then they're home versus Pitt. It pains me to say that that's a tough challenge, but it's going to be. I have the Falcons going 7 and 10, and the funny part about that is I only have them winning 1 game in their first 8 weeks. So it feels like they're going to finish strong and potentially, give the Buccaneers a run for their money for the division. My biggest surprise was the Panthers. I only have them getting 5 wins this season. I know they won the division last year with 8 wins, but they have the 10th hardest schedule, even though they travel the least amount of miles in the whole NFL, and they don't play a team that has a bye week before they play Carolina. I think last year was kind of a fluke with them winning the division. And then the Saints, I have them going 3 and 14 with 0 wins before their week 8 bye.
Damn, Tyler Shough is rough. That's bad. I mean, the same thing for me though. Actually, looking at it, I have them going 0 and 7 to start the season, so we're identical on that. First win against the Browns, so wavelength right there.
Another win, the Jets. I think
great.
The Jets, right?
Now I'm off your wavelength now. Goodbye, Alberto. Am I crazy for this standings? Raphael doesn't think so much. How about you?
So I am obviously optimistic, like I was with the AFC South. I have the Saints winning the division 10 and 7. Panthers going 9 and 8, Bucks going 8 and 9, Falcons going 7 and 10.
Wow, so complete flip flop of what Raphael just said. That's going to be fun. Why are you so high on the Saints?
I like Kellen Moore, obviously for reasons. He was our offensive coordinator for the Eagles, helped us get to the Super Bowl, win it. Not saying he's going to take the Saints to the Super Bowl right now, but they're building around Tyler Shough. They brought over Travis Etienne. They got him Jordan Tyson. They got some additions on offensive line that they really need. We're going to talk about Tyler Shough later on, but, kind of coalesces to, is he the guy or not the guy, the franchise of the team. But I like their chances. I like Kellen Moore. They need to probably revamp a little bit on the defense, but that division is usually pretty tight. So I give them about a space of a game or 2 from each other.
Yeah, usually tightly bad. Hopefully it's a little different this year. But Vin, as the Steelers literally play all these people, what do you have the division looking like?
Aside from the Bucks beating the Steelers, I agree with what you were saying, Rich. I'm a Buccaneers guy, big Baker guy. I want him to go to Pitt when Ben retired. I wanted a lot of guys to go there when Ben retired. But I believe in Baker. He's the dude.
Yeah. So you got Baker and Brissett. Those are the 2 You wanted them
Uh,
after Ben left?
and Winston.
Okay.
I would have loved Winston with Tomlin. I think that would have been a good match.
Yeah, 3 good quarterbacks. I'm down for all
Yeah.
3 of those. So, I think it's time, Chris. Time for the claim, which is Chris's baby.
No, you don't want Milo's predictions?
Nah, we are on a time scale.
Screw that guy.
Go ahead, do it quick.
I was going to say, Milo has the Bucks at 8.2, the Saints at 7.9, the Falcons at 7.2, and the Panthers at 7.1. So kind of splitting everybody, like whoever's high, whoever's low. It's kind of right in the middle. It's a wash. I will say, as an Eagles fan, I'm thankful that Carolina got the number 1 seed, so we get them this year. I'm going to regret those words in like week 5, or it's not 5, that's Jacksonville, maybe 6 when they get back from Jacksonville. But if you're asking me, I'm going to lead on Baker Mayfield. I like Baker Mayfield. Quote Vin, he's a dog. I'm in on Baker Mayfield, even though I do love the Darnold versus Faker Mayfield Reddit thread. I do believe in Baker as if they get on a run. I'm not saying this team, but he's the type of quarterback where, like the Eagles with Nick Foles, could go on a run and win a Super Bowl. I don't think it's the Bucks that does that, but like I believe in him as that type of quarterback that could elevate his game in the playoffs to do some damage.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I have zero desire to watch this division.
Yeah. I mean, for the Bucks, last thing before we get into the claim, it's not so much Baker being limited due to Baker. It's more Todd Bowles. I just don't think that he's a coach that can get a team over the hump. When it comes to coaching decisions, he kind of fumbles a lot of things that, lead to losses. And we've seen that with New York. And obviously we see that in Tampa Bay. So I just don't think he's the right coach for the team. If you had like someone that was in there that was an offensive minded guy that Baker could just kind of be let loose and throw to Egbuka and Bucky. Also, that's another thing. We don't know when Bucky's coming back. That's a huge part of this division as well. But I'm sure we'll talk about that in the future with our fantasy picks. Now we're officially in the claim, Chris. This is Milo and Chris's baby, where he's going to name 3 Milo claims and a claim of his own. So, Chris, why don't you start it up?
Yeah, so Milo's first claim, Malik Neighbors plays 12 or fewer games in 2026. So, coming off the injury, I believe it was an ACL and a meniscus. There's another surgery this offseason to remove scar tissue. Week 1 availability potentially in doubt. I think it was Schefter that said that. And it's more likely he misses the opener than plays. So Milo is claiming that Malik Neighbors 12 or fewer games in 2026. Anybody feeling strongly one way or the other on this?
I feel like that's not bold enough of a take. I feel like it could be less than that. I don't know. When you have to go back under the knife after like a long time, it's not good. I mean, he could play 8 or 6 games. Like he might not even play. So go bolder, Milo. Be really own it.
I'll go in there and call him a bitch.
Please tell him I said so.
I agree with Craig on this one, especially since Harbaugh is known to have some of the toughest practices.
So I mean,
he's an Andy Reid disciple. He believes in hitting first practice forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've had 3 season-ending injuries. 3 season-ending injuries already, and it's not even June. I know we're recording the show. You're going to watch it a different day, but Gunnar went down today, and with season-ending injury, they just go 100% all the time. So for me, I think it's going to be under 12 as well, because not only is he coming back from an injury, but you have the MetLife turf, which will probably be back in after FIFA, even though it shouldn't be. Which anyone can go down on that at any time. So I think 12 is not bold enough either. I'm going to agree with Craig on this one. Milo, bitch.
Anybody thinking it's more than? Or else we'll just move on to number 2.
No shot.
No shot, right.
All right, this one's a little spicier. So, because mainly I don't believe in it. Tyler Shough is a legitimate franchise quarterback, and I say I don't believe in it as somebody who did not watch New Orleans last year. So 67.6% completion rate in 2025, top 12 EPA from week 10 through week 18. Full Kellen Moore system in year 2 with Jordan Tyson added as the number 8 pick, which I know a lot of you actually believe in Jordan Tyson. So it doesn't feel like bridge building. Milo's in on Tyler Shough this year. Anyone?
I kind of am too.
You heard the you heard the win-loss predictions before. Just no. Like I don't know where this is.
I did hear Alberto's win-loss prediction, so I think Alberto may be on the other side of this.
I mean, de facto franchise quarterback because that's all you have at the moment. Yeah, but like to be crowned the quarterback franchise of the team, I don't think so. I think he needs to be built around like he's been provided, like Travis Etienne, Jordan Tyson.
I guess if the definition of franchise quarterback is the quarterback of the franchise currently, then sure.
What did you have the Saints winning? Was it like 11 or was it 10?
10-7.
9-7? Okay.
10.
10-7. I was gonna say that feels a little rich to me personally.
I mean, Kellen Moore, he did a lot with Dallas, and look what Dak is a better quarterback, obviously, but he did a lot of damage with the Cowboys. I think he could bring that up with like Tyler
Dak's
Shough.
a great regular season quarterback. He's fantastic in the regular season.
Correct. And Tyler Shough is not him, but he could play to that level to make it seem like he could be that franchise.
Kellen Moore coached up Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott. He's a QB guru basically. Here's a hot take.
One QB that you just named that I like. So I think I'm pretty happy with my no. Continue.
Well, you're a Jets fan. You sit down.
What I like is questionable. That fair point. What I like is questionable. But
how do you feel about Chad Pennington 2.0?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I was going to jump in and say he was Raphael, but now you can go kick rocks. So I'm with Craig now. He's gonna suck. How about that? Go defend yourself.
Anybody else got anything on Tyler Shough, or we want the third one?
Yeah, he's just in a great position to succeed as a quarterback. He didn't look bad last year, and he's got 2 great weapons, great quarterback coach. Why not?
He has three if you count Kamara. You got Olave if you're in on Tyson.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings isn't bad either.
I've seen some bold takes about Shaw that he could be the next Drake May. Very similar paths.
Why not?
Name
that because they're
aggressively mediocre. These are your franchise guys that you're picking out. Like, not one of these guys has had any measurable playoff success outside of Drake May, who had the world's easiest playoff run last year. Like, what are we talking about here?
Games have to be played.
He would go 3-14 on the Jets.
But it would be cool.
Well,
at least.
It wouldn't.
It would be cool.
It would be cool.
Was that one spicy enough for you, Craig, for Milo to predict him as a franchise?
Yeah, man, I need some milk after that. I got to cool down.
All right. Third claim. HN wins the 2026 NFL Offensive Player of the Year award. Elite talent, full workload, the only offensive weapon on a 4-win roster. When a team has no passing game, the running back absorbs everything, targets, carries, touches. He just signed a new extension. Miami's building around them, which I would argue is not the correct take because they're not going to be relevant. I mentioned that last week or a couple weeks ago. But for me, I'm not in on this. When you're potentially a 5-win team, you're not winning any award. I'm sorry. But thoughts?
I mean, they're going to be playing from behind every game. Yeah, go ahead, Raphael. You first. Age before beauty.
I was just going to say I agree with Chris that if the Dolphins win 5 games, he's not winning any awards.
Yeah. I mean, by this logic, Milo, Jeremiah Love should be like the offensive player of the year, right? Like, let's just pick one decent player on some garbage team. Like, it's a ridiculous take, Milo. Ridiculous.
I was going to say, but at least HN has proved it. Like, we don't know about Love yet.
tomato. We're talking.
I was going to say, I feel like he feels like somebody that's probably going to end up being. I could go either way on it with fantasy, like, because he is going to get everything.
Mm.
So if he's getting a crap ton of like receptions, then you're going to be satisfied with him. But like those touchdown numbers are probably going to be down. So it's not like you're getting those 30-point weeks, but you may be consistently getting like those 15 to 20-point weeks. So you're happy overall.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
That's what he feels like.
You got to think about the Dolphins like depth chart right now. Their number one wide receiver is what, Jalen Tolbert, and like Chris Bell, who they got in like what is the fourth round. They have no one to throw to. So Waddle's out the door. Tyreek is out the door. He's going to get a ton of dump offs. But when you're down 30 points, like the run game kind of goes out the window. So he's going to lose a lot of that because the team.
As long as he's catching those 2-yard receptions, that's 0.7 or 1.2 points, baby.
Well, wait, are we talking fantasy or are we talking NFL awards? Because I
was going to say this is an NFL award, which is why I'm out on it. But I feel like most of the public's going to be like okay with it in general.
For fantasy, sure. Yeah, because he's the only one getting touches. He might get 12 points, and that's just off of 12 receptions. 3 yards because there's 11 people in the box. But other than that, it's still decent.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like we're all out on that take.
Yeah.
I'm just going to continue. I'll tell Milo, multiple takes, you're a bitch.
Yep.
Got
Please.
No.
All right. So
who takes?
I was going to say my take. So this is coming off of the Nolan Smith arrest going 130 plus miles per hour for the Eagles, for those that weren't aware of it, in Georgia. So I do not see him playing on the Eagles in 2028. So I do not believe that the arrest is going to affect his on-field value or what he gets paid in 2028. Because he didn't hurt anybody. Nobody's going to give a crap later. Like, that's just how the NFL is, personally. He already has his 5th-year option guaranteed, so he's in Philadelphia through 2027 regardless. But right now for the Eagles, you have Jalex Hunt and you have Nolan Smith that are coming up for a contract extension. You have Jordan Davis just been paid. You're going to have Jalen Carter, who's going to be paid. You need Cooper DeJean. You need Quinyon Mitchell. Like, you have all these defensive players that need to be paid. So they're going to have to choose between one of these defensive ends. And right now, I think they're just going to choose Jalex Hunt because of this off-the-field situation if you view them similarly. So my take, it may not be wildly bold, but I feel like in 2028, it's going to be Jalex Hunt and not Nolan Smith.
Alberto, this is all you, man. Jump in. This is your
Eagles. They also traded during the draft for Jonathan Greenard, defensive end, and they gave him a good contract. I think 3-year deal. So I think they're just going to address defensive end, pass rusher next year's draft because next year's draft is loaded. So they might double dip, let him play, and then let him walk. The Eagles are not expected to receive a comp pick if they let him walk in 2028. So, I mean, he could have like 10 sack seasons this year and next year, and that'll be good for us, for the defense. But, I mean, of value, I just think they'll go younger and just get another defensive end to replace him.
I mean, if there's
and the crazy thing is
how he will.
The crazy thing is yeah, definitely. But or they could trade him like you're suggesting.
I was gonna say, and he may, like, maybe that's a year where they're trying to get compensatory picks, and he's gonna get a fat ass contract because he's a defensive end that's decently productive, and people overpay for that. So he may be like a 3rd or a 4th round compensatory pick potential, depending on the year if they're trying to get free agents or not.
And it's crazy because Nolan Smith was out of Georgia, and there's a running joke of them always getting in trouble with the law, but Nolan Smith was squeaky clean up until this incident.
It was very shocking to me that he was the one.
I mean, we like to go fast. We like to win.
That's all I got, Rich.
You know, the dogs are just.
You want to give your Stafford road through Detroit, whatever BS you gave last week?
No, that was last week. I'm about this week. So, all right. So our last segment is my favorite segment. Honestly, we're gonna do our Fantasy South segment here, which is where we're gonna go over all the AFC and NFC South targets, fades, avoids, and dynasty. Because I know a lot of people are already drafting their dynasty leagues. So let's start with the Jacksonville Jaguars on the AFC side of things. For me, I have targets. I have Jacoby Myers, who kind of skyrocketed when he got signed. I got Parker Washington. I got Tootin, and I got Brenton Strange. I'm gonna fade. For me, I'm fading, and I know Raphael, you're gonna hate this. I'm fading Brian Thomas Jr. I'm avoiding Travis Hunter altogether because they don't know if he's a wide receiver or a cornerback. And for Dynasty, I really like LaQuint Allen, a running back who could, battle Tootin for playing time. And then they randomly added Nate Bork-Hitcher, the tight end, as their first draft pick this year. They overdrafted him, but that means they kind of like the guy. So maybe someone that you should add in Dynasty. Raphael, start with BTJ. Am I wrong for fading him here? What do you think?
No, I think you're completely right. I was really hoping he would get traded during the draft. I'm still kind of holding out that they'll just end up making some kind of deal over the summer to trade him away and give him an opportunity somewhere else. I was so high on the kid coming out of LSU, and I felt so validated that rookie season that he had. I had him up there with Neighbors, and people were calling me crazy. The one name you didn't.
Why are they so down on him?
I think it's Trevor Lawrence.
I know he had a down season last year, but he had a great rookie season. So, usually
I don't
you're
think
not trying to, that feels like off the field concerns for me.
No, I think it's a chemistry issue with Trevor Lawrence. When he was doing all his work, it was with Mac Jones when Trevor Lawrence was hurt. And to be honest, it might even be a little bit of Liam Cohen coming in, which helped Trevor Lawrence tremendously for fantasy wise. But, obviously it hurt Brian Thomas Jr.
Is Trevor Lawrence going to be someone you target, Raphael?
I think so, especially, with him being in Liam Cohen's system. He ended the season strong last year for fantasy. He had over 25 points per game the last 6 weeks or so, something like that. And he actually unlocked some rushing yards too, which I was a little bit surprised to see. So he's definitely someone I would target at the right price.
Yeah, I mean, he was stacking the rushing touchdowns. If you're betting him last year, I think he had multiple games where he had 2 rushing touchdowns. He became a rushing demon under Cohen. So I'm with you on that one. Alberto or Vin, you have any other targets, fades, avoids, dynasty people for the Jags?
Yeah. Rodriguez, the running back they signed from the Commanders, I think he's a nice little late round flyer. Why not? Because the running back field is kind of muddied as it is all across the board. You don't have your bell cow. And Tootin could fall on his face, could just not be a bell cow. Allen's kind of more of a pass catcher, but I think the whole backfield's a coin flip. Why not go for him? Because he was good. He was good in the Commanders.
Yeah. Anybody else on the Jags before we move on to the Colts?
I'm good on the Jags.
All right. I'm good on the Jags too. Colts. My targets are, some of them are chalk. The other ones, deeper cut. Jonathan Taylor. I take him every single year. Chris, I know Milo hates him already, but we'll get to that. Tyler Warren.
No, he's a Milo target.
He looked pretty low.
Get out of here. Don't talk for Milo. I talk for Milo.
I saw it already. He had him 18th. It seemed pretty low. Tyler Warren is a target. And then I have Josh Downs as a target. I'm fading Daniel Jones just because of the injury. And I'm also fading Alec Pierce because of the injury. Yeah, I know you're going to talk about Daniel Jones. I'm fading Alec Jones.
Milo had Alec Pierce as a fade as well.
Well, there we go. I agree with the robot on that. I'm avoiding Westbrook Akina completely. I think that's just a no-brainer. And then for Dynasty, I really like Deion Burks. He's right behind Westbrook Akina, and I think he's going to actually end up beating him for a starting role. So those are my targets, fades, avoids, and dynasty. Anybody have anything for the Colts?
One interesting dynasty that I kind of like is an Anthony Richardson, just because everybody is so low on him. And if he gets traded, that's somebody who could potentially pop off. So if you could like get him at a very low value, that feels smart to me.
Yeah, Chris, I was kind of along the same lines there. Listen, Darnold took a couple of years to figure it out. There's some athleticism potential in Richardson. If you have like the last pick of your dynasty league for a guy who's going to get some reps this year, yeah, sure. I would take him as a flyer. No one else is going to.
Has anyone seen pictures of him recently?
Does he look like you?
He's jacked. Granted, he can be as jacked as he wants, but if he just quits on the team in the second quarter while he's playing starting quarterback and has to come out of the game, that's not good for fantasy.
So are we talking like DK Metcalf coming out of the draft jacked, like that type? Or like what are we talking about?
His arms are huge right now.
I know Chris says a lot of gay things, but I think that was number one on the show. So we're going to clip that.
That was really the top of your list. I've said way worse.
I just got to call Raphael when I can. He usually says like the straightest things all the time. And
oh, you said Raphael. I thought you were talking about me.
No, I said.
Got it.
I've said you said a lot of gay things.
No, we're Raphael, good. I'm on board with this.
All right.
No,
his arms are huge. Yeah, but I got to call you out now. You may never have this again.
Don't look it up, and arms aren't huge.
You seem really into this. All right. Any other Colts?
Yeah, I disagree with your takes on Dimes and Alec Pierce. They're my salvation. They're going to win me the ship this year. I think Pierce is going to prove all the haters wrong. Not one person is saying he's worth the money except the Colts and myself. And Dimes just throws darts. Let's be real. He wins games. He's the Tebow of this generation.
Ew.
With the Colts anyway. With the Colts anyway. Not with the Giants. Don't worry about the Giants.
Yeah.
Gonna say, I made fun of that draft pick while I was teaching when they drafted him, and Giants fans in my class were like, "Oh hell yeah!" I'm like, trash, straight trash.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I was right with the Giants, but this goes back to my point on Steichen. Like, I'm in on Steichen, and I think he got the most out of Danny Dimes. Whether or not he's good in the first half of the season because of the injury or whatever, I don't know. But I wouldn't mind having him on my team. He has some legs. He has good weapons. Whatever.
Bro, with injuries, he was my QB1 last year for like 12 weeks. It was bad, but it was good because Dimes is great.
I need you to do it again in our league, though. I need you to, get both those guys, please. They're all yours.
I have them, and I'm going to beat Raphael with them.
There you go. Anybody else? Any other Colts before we move on to the Titans? Nope. All right. Tennessee Titans targets for me. I got Tate and I got Wendell Robinson. If you've heard this show before, I'm a big Wendell Robinson guy. I'm fading both Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears just because they're the same guy. You don't know which one you're going to get. I'm avoiding Calvin Ridley completely. I didn't even know he was still on the team. He probably won't be for long. And Dynasty, I got Nicholas Singleton, which we talked about before. I think he's going to end up being the starting running back. And then I do like Gunnar Helm at tight end. I feel like he's going to end up being the starting tight end for the season for them as well. Any other Titans people here that we can talk about?
I know I've crapped on Daboll, but I'm kind of in on Cam Ward a little bit because he has some weapons and stuff. Like, it's one of those, like, you're going to have a trash season as a team, but you could be good for fantasy. That's what Cam Ward feels like to me in general. So I'm in on a Cam Ward.
It could be complete BS, but Wandale Robinson came out recently and was, talking up his QB, saying how much more of a better passer he is than Jackson Dart, for what it's worth. So I like the Cam Ward take.
Then you got that year 2 jump too.
Yeah. Their defense isn't bad, so I mean they could surprise some people. They could be that team this year that kind of turns heads.
Right. All right. Any other Titans before we move on to Texans? Speak now? No?
Nah.
All right. Texans, here we go. Targets. I got Woody Marks. I think, obviously he came on. What I was about to say would have got clipped. I'm going to stop myself. He was very good last year when he got started. David Montgomery, I think he's going to vulture, which is what he did in Detroit. I still think he's going to do that in Houston. I have him as a target. Nico Collins just got paid. He's going to be happy. The Texans defense for me is really high up there. And one that I'm actually going to target super duper late, and if it fails, whatever, is Tank Dell. I mean, he had a whole year to recover from his injury. Before the injury, he was really high up there. I would take him very late, but I would take him. I would fade
MILO
literally. Yeah, I would fade literally.
You and the robot are simpatico today, buddy.
We didn't line up at all. I didn't read anything from the robot, so I'm liking it. I'm going to fade every other wide receiver not named Collins and Tank. I'm avoiding CJ Stroud. I know, Craig, you disagreed. You think he's going to be a little bit better, but what he showed me last year, I don't want anything to do with him. And for Dynasty, I like Marlon Klein, the tight end. I think he's going to battle Schultz for that job. What do we got?
Think is a little bit different than hope. I hope that he's going to be a little bit better this coming season. But think I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty much locked up with you on the Texans. I think that their passing game isn't necessarily going to be the most dynamic thing. This is a defensive team. That's the strength of this team. So guys that can give you kind of PPR points or their running backs are mostly what I would target here.
Any other Texans here?
I think Montgomery's going to be more than just a vulture. I think he's going to be the workhorse, honestly.
You could probably would you take Marks off your board? Is Marks off your board?
Not completely. I mean, it's a running back. Running backs are hard to come by. So, granted, if something happens to Montgomery where he gets injured, then Marks is going to be the first waiver claim for the week. See what I did there? Took a page out of Craig's book.
What plug?
WaiVER CLaiM.
All right. So
I was going to say MILO was out on Stroud as well, but it was mainly for that hardest close. So this is more a redraft issue than a keeper dynasty situation. It's just because I mentioned it earlier, the hardest closing schedule in the NFL. So don't think you're getting 2024 Stroud in playoff weeks. I'd just be out on that.
All right. So we're going to switch from the AFC to the NFC, and we're going to start with who I think is going to win the division, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with a record of 7-10, which is not going to happen. My targets for the Buccaneers.
Howard.
My targets are Baker Mayfield, Emeka Egbuka, who is going to be through the roof this year. Jalen McMillan as the 2. And then Kenneth Gainwell. I think Kenneth Gainwell, you saw what he did last year, and then Bucky's going to be injured. I think he's going to start hot and stay hot. I'm fading Chris Godwin. He just gets injured all the time, and he's up there with age. No one really I'm avoiding. I guess you could put Godwin in that category. And then Dynasty, I love me some Ted Hurst. Ted Hurst is going to be very good for them at wide receiver. I think he's going to push McMillan. He'll probably be the 3 when all is said and done, and Godwin's going to probably be elsewhere, is what I would think. Buccaneers, what do we got?
I think Cade Otton's going to be Mike Evans' replacement early on.
Cade Otton, tight end?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
Anybody
him.
else?
So MILO has this note on Tampa Bay for Baker. Is he on QB on Netflix this season? Because it says Netflix season equals extra motivation. So he's in on Baker Mayfield. So I'm wondering if he's on QB this season on Netflix and he's just going to be locked in.
Yeah, I think they named I don't know who's on it because last season just hurt my feelings with Cousins. But how does that work with MILO and Cousins? Didn't they see what happened with Cousins? Or you?
No, Baker. Well, my feelings on that weeb nerd Melvin Cousins. Baker is not Cousins. Don't even put them in your mouth together, sir. Ridiculous.
It
I'm just
looks
saying
like
same
this
show.
year. It looks like this year's quarterbacks are Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, Cam Ward, and Joe Flacco.
I don't know about why we got Joe Flacco on this, but otherwise, like I'm in on those. That's interesting to me. That's a solid group of 3. Like I don't mind Joe Flacco, Audubon native, New Jersey. Like I used to work at the Audubon Acme when he came in when he was playing in high school for Audubon. So like I like a Joe Flacco, but I don't need to see him on QB on Netflix. Let's be real.
Yeah. He's like this year's Mariota when they had Mariota on for absolutely no reason.
God, that was so bad too.
Yeah. All right. Any other Buccaneers here?
You nailed it. Gainwell's the GOAT.
I agree with you this year. I'm going to actually draft him this year. I didn't last year. I missed out on all the Gainwell shares. Next team we got is the Saints. Targets, I got Olave, Jordan Tyson. I like Jawan Johnson this year. Travis Etienne. I also like Devin Neal late. And then I'm going to say it. I like Tyler Shough as a backup quarterback. I was going to say that.
You say Tyson. Are you in on Tyson on a redraft? Or is this mainly keeper dynasty thinking?
Literally all I would do. I would draft him in redraft too. I feel like he's going to be a PPR machine this year. So I'm going to fade Alvin Kamara. I don't even know if he's going to be on the team, to be honest. I'm avoiding Zach Wilson just because I want to say it, even though no one's going to draft Zach Wilson. He is on the team. I was going to get bleeped. Never mind. Zach Wilson's getting avoided. Dynasty, they have 2 really young wide receivers aside from Tyson. They got Bryce Lance, who is behind Olave, and they got Barryon Brown from LSU, which is the wide receiver behind Vele, and their starting kick returner. So out of those 2, I would go Barryon Brown because I think he can beat out Vele, and if he gets a kick return touchdown, that does count in most fantasy leagues. So, any other Saints that I missed?
No. Just to your point about Kamara.
I'm fading. Go
ahead. Just to your point about Kamara, I saw an interesting post this week after the Josh Jacobs arrest that the Packers could be in play to maybe trade for Kamara, which as someone who owns Kamara in Dynasty, I've had him since his rookie season. He was going to be a cut candidate for me this season, which, sad. Real sad, but if he somehow gets
that makes a lot of sense.
If he somehow gets traded to the Packers, that feels like a second wind, and that would make me very happy.
That makes a lot of sense to go to the Packers because I almost swapped out my claim take for Nolan Smith on Josh Jacobs, because domestic violence, get out of the league, F off, full stop.
Yep.
End of story.
Yeah. Vin, what do you got for the Saints here?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm fading Olave. He's to a level concussion protocol. He's like 1 or 2 more away to where you're like, do you keep going? So I'm targeting Tyson everywhere.
Yeah. Olave's got the varsity blues going on for him right now. I feel like every time he goes down, I was like, is that it? That makes sense. Carolina Panthers. My targets, Tet McMillan. I do like Jalen Coker later. Chuba Hubbard. I feel like he's got the bell cow ability again. I'm fading Jonathan Brooks. I know he's supposed to come back, but he can never be healthy. He's never been healthy. I'm also going to fade Bryce Young. Not someone I'm willing to draft this year. I'm avoiding.
Jonathan Brooks is a little J.K. Dobbins-ish.
Yeah, well, you can have him. I just, the guy can't play it down. So we'll start there.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, Dobbins is always injured.
Yeah, I mean, Dobbins at least plays a little bit. This guy has never played. I'm going to avoid Xavier Legette. I feel like he's almost out of the league. Dynasty, I really like Chris Brazil, the wide receiver. He's directly behind Legette, and I don't think that's going to be for long. Like I said, I think he's going to beat out Legette and probably end up as a starter on the Panthers. Any other Carolina Panther here that we got?
They're the Browns for me. I'm thinking nobody.
Yeah.
I'll echo Hubbard. I've had him in some dynasty leagues over the years, and he got a little handcuffed last year when Rico Dowdle went off. But I think he's going to step back in and being the bell cow. And Much like Milo thought earlier, if you're a good running back on a mediocre team, you're going to be the offensive player of the year. So it seems like a good pick to me.
There you go. You guys make me feel good about all my choices here, and you're going to snake all of these later, which is going to be great.
I was going to say, dude, I'm taking notes.
I was going to say, our fantasy teams are cooked this year if our friends are watching. Let's be real.
Good luck to the other half that's not on the show that's going to be in the league. You guys won. All right, last team, last but not least, the Atlanta Falcons. My targets, obviously Drake London, Bijan Robinson. If you don't have the first two picks, you're not getting Bijan. Fade Penix, Tua, which I talked about before. I'm also fading Kyle Pitts this year. It's not Kirk Cousins throwing in the ball. I feel like the production is going to drop. I'm avoiding Jahan Dotson. And what's up?
You and Milo.
Oh,
you are simpatico, my dude.
I actually hate that. I'm avoiding Jahan Dotson and Zacchaeus. And for Dynasty, I really, and I hate saying this because I want to drop this guy. I love Zachariah Branch, wide receiver. I think he's going to battle. He's going to be right up there with Drake as a favorite target for this team. So Kyle Pitts is questionable. I know I know a lot of people on this panel like Kyle Pitts, but what do you think on the Falcons?
Kyle Pitts, Milo's out on, like you. Me personally, on Drake London, I am pretty high on this season, mainly because he was in the schedule release video, I believe, and I feel like when teams are actively trying to brand, like when you have Bijan, and Drake's taking a star role in this type of thing, that means they're high on them internally in my brain. So because of that, I'm low-key pretty high on Drake London. I really cared about the schedule release, didn't I?
Yeah, I mean, Drake London could be high up there regardless of the video. Raphael.
No, but higher than probably consensus is what I'm getting at.
Gotcha.
I'm actually.
What do you think about Pitts?
Pitts, I feel like is going to end up going higher just because of the season he had last season. Everybody has been waiting for some kind of breakout, and he had a mediocre breakout, I guess, last season. So people are going to look into that and expect it to keep on rising. But to Chris's point, I
want to call it mediocre. I changed my fantasy team to Kyle Pitts season when he started to pop off. So I'm not going to keep him. I'm not going to keep him on my keeper team, but last season was nice.
I'm kind of torn on Pitts, and my thought process is the fantasy tight ends are just, there's very few of them that really exist, and he seems like one of the guys who always could be on the edge of doing it, which means he's overvalued and he has to get taken early, to Raphael's point. So I don't know. It really depends on your league, where you're picking in the draft, and how badly do you feel like you need a tight end to win, right? Because a lot of the times, if you're not getting a tight end in rounds 1, 2, or 3, you might as well not take one till round 10 because they're just a dime a dozen at that point.
I agree with that. Raphael, sorry, I cut you off. You got anybody else?
Well, I just wanted to speak to your point about Drake London. His target share was ridiculous last year, and I can't see that going any lower this year. So I'm really higher on him than the consensus is, like you are too.
You and me, schedule release videos, Drake London, just shaking hands constantly.
Always need references.
That. All right. Any other?
You hate my robot friend, but
no one's a Milo fan. Any other Falcons before we take this home? No.
Nah, just Bijan or bust. The QB situation stinks.
100% agree with that.
Fair.
That's the way to end it. All right, so that's the South. 2 divisions, some very spicy takes, and Milo had something to say about all of it and agreed with me, which makes me feel terrible. Next week, we're jumping into the North. 2 divisions where Milo has very different takes in the market. And you're not going to want to miss that. Follow us on all socials and audio platforms at WaiVER CLaiM Show, YouTube at WaiVER CLaiM. Hit subscribe and help us spread the word. Hit us up. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. We're all for changing things up. Human takes, AI verdicts. Until next week, this has been WaiVER CLaiM.
WaiVER CLaiM.
WaiVER CLaiM.
WaiVER CLaiM. it's Rich with the picks, got the board on lock. Sunday slate, money line clock, tick, tick, tock. Sleeper in the slot that your league don't see. Turn the bench spot boy to a big time fee. Chris with the tape, he's the frame that thinks. Ask one question, watch it blink, blink, blink. Got data, got charts, got a slide side eye. If the robot wrong, then we both gon' fry. Okay, okay. Craig on the mic, baby face, big talk. Walk you through the spread, do the chalk outline. Walk from the mock to the prop to the live in game. If you scared of the sweat,